I'm Christofina, founder and CEO of 𝐓𝐑𝐈𝐍𝐈𝐓𝐘, production, known as ZZZ Trinity Map. And this is your sacred container for transformation, and that's real and not performative. Today, we are stepping into a room most people will never enter it, and that is your subconscious mind and encountering your shadow. But for starters, freedom usually starts where the soul, or including yourself, just says, this is something that I really want to let go. And you no longer want to see in the next year. And that is what this video is about. It's about facing the unfinished and what shadows are still lingering till this day. So I'm not here to shame you about your shadow. I'm not here to overwhelm you, but I'm here to help you restore your power, because unfinished shadows don't always look like chaos. Sometimes they just look like, for one, staying busy so that you don't sit with your emotions or your thoughts, or attracting the same kind of negative attributes from an individual, but it's just a different vessel. But listen, this is important. I want you to know that your shadow is not a monster. It is your greatest ally who is consistently, I say consistently, sending you a message. There are three forces that take away from you embodying your divine power. For one, is fear. For example, you're afraid of being seen, or you're afraid what other people will say, whatever the case may be. The other one's attachment. You don't want to be alone, so you stick with this toxic relationship, or you're attached to being who you were, an old identity and attachment to that identity, thinking that it's you and it's not. But you have to move on. If you want change, you have to move on. The shadow, it will negotiate. It will say, okay, well, let's just stay and just keep feeding on your silence until it's time for you to finally let go of it. There are common shadows that people carry throughout the years and don't even realize it. One is avoidance. You delay hard conversations, you ignore your body when you're in an environment or you're with an individual that doesn't sit well with you. You postpone your decisions and you keep saying soon, but soon will be never. We can't play that game no more. Self-betrayal. You say yes when you mean no. You lower your standards so that you can keep a connection, and you're silencing your intuition so that you can keep your peace. And then you wonder why. You feel disconnected from yourself because you're not respecting you. Another one is control. You try to grip everything because uncertainty feels like death. If you lose everything, then eventually you won't have the life that you think was yours. And I get it. Control is more of safety, but it's fear. It's pretending to be leadership. And you don't want that for yourself. Last but not least, validation. You don't trust your worth unless someone else mirrors it back to you. So your nervous system becomes addicted to approval. And every time it disappears, you spiral. If any of this hits you in the chest, in your heart, good. Because that's not guilt. That's your soul saying this is the door. So here's the truth. Shadow work without light becomes despair. Light without shadow becomes delusion. We need both. We can't live without the other. So don't be afraid to embody the darkness that's within you. Don't make it seem like, oh, we have to get rid of the shadow. No, the shadow's there to be your ally. It's there to extract the lesson. It's there for you to retrieve your power and to also turn that wound, that shadow, into wisdom. Because the goal isn't to become a person without a shadow, as I mentioned. The goal is to become the person whose shadows no longer run their kingdom. So, when you get a chance, ask yourself, what shadows has followed me throughout this past year? List it. For example, whether that's avoiding conflict, overworking to feel worthy, or just numbing yourself with, what did this shadow cost me? Be honest, be specific. Was it time? Was it confidence, peace, money, energy, your health, an opportunity? The list can go on. And when you finally come clear with that, now say to yourself, This year, I choose to I'll hope, not that I will try. You will choose to tell the truth. You will choose to stop negotiating with addiction. You will choose to stop returning to people who do not even love you. And you will choose to be consistent even when it's uncomfortable. Anything. And just breathe. Pull the shadow into the light. That alone is your power. Now, put it out there so that what you share will initially touch someone else. If you sincerely want your shadow to become your greatest ally, here are 3 ways unfinished shadows can get finished. I'm looking like a ballerina around here. Just kidding. 1 is having a conversation with your shadow. Some shadows end when you speak what you keep swallowing. A boundary, apology, a truth, a goodbye. The list can go on. Not because you own anyone closure, but because you own your self-integrity. Another gateway is repetition. Some shadows don't need a speech. They need a new action to be replaced. If that shadow is procrastination, the medicine is 1 completed task at a time. If the shadow is self-betrayal, the medicine is to say no so that you are honoring yourself. And lastly, if the shadow is addiction, the medicine is 1 honest interruption. The grief is also another way of getting rid of the shadow. Or not getting rid of the shadow, but neutralizing your shadow. Is some shadows are pain and that never been processed. So your system is holding a story it didn't even get to finish. So take the time to cry. Be with your emotions. Journal it. Feel what's inside your body so that you can feel the sanctification from it all. And by you doing that, you're letting your nervous system complete what it couldn't complete back then, in that time being, or whatever you may have experienced. And if you don't know which door you need to take to neutralize your shadow to be your ally, then just ask yourself, is this shadow resolved by truth, action, or release? That is the trinity of solving your shadow. Before we close, do this with me. Put your hand over your heart and say out loud, I forgave myself for surviving the only way I knew. I forgive myself for surviving the only way I knew. I choose to finish what my soul started. I choose to finish what my soul has started. If you enjoy what I have shared with you today, feel free to share, like, and subscribe. And if you are ready to go deeper, visit 𝐓𝐑𝐈𝐍𝐈𝐓𝐘 Trinity Map and claim your self-reflection tool, because we don't just need to talk about transformation, we need to structure it. So don't fear the unfinished shadow. Face it and take back your power.